Yo, hello there, just doing a reaction video to Ratirl, his meta breaking top picks. Let's check this out. So it does run Halo Blades on Ashe, and a mana oriented build with TR and mana flow band, while also notably does have Ghost, cooldown boots, D-Blade. Let's see how he performs, right? He actually does use his E to reveal, right? So first of all he scouts if the enemy jungler is around, and then he's looking for a fight, right? That's really important to do everywhere with Ashe, right? He just paces his basic attacks as hard as possible. He does use his ghost, right? He does use his ghost to chase Q's in. He goes towards a bush. Now what happens in here, he just wants to like shred off the slow. He wants to like space him as hard as possible. Sadly the JC connects, which did actually matter there, but I think he is dead anyways. So it was just a slight mistake on his part not spacing the JC, because the issue is it also proc his phase rush, which made the chase itself way longer. So in here he could then actually like space slightly better by walking a teensy bit more back instead of basicing, because him getting phase rush and the knockback could possibly make him to be at risk of getting collapsed on by the enemy jungler. At least the likeliness would be higher, just because he needs to be chased more. But again, in here I think we can see the Lee Sin. I think this is allied or enemy. I think that's allied. We don't see the enemy jungle, so just like a slight micro mistake in here. He didn't really, instead of like overly basic attacking, he should like get out of his E range and then basic attacking. So that way the kill would be way more smooth. But again, this is fine, like we killed him in a base. I think that's the only thing he could do slightly better, just pace the JC better instead of like overly investing your basic attacks into him, right? Because that would allow us to shove this way more smoothly as well, right? But that's fine, I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm using Ashe and Soraka specifically at the moment. I feel like Soraka is meh, I mean, might be just a bit close-minded. Of course he has like two bruisers in his team, he has Kaisa. But is my opinion about like Soraka top. It's kinda like against side laners, you cannot do shit that go Hullbreaker, and some champs gonna stomp you in lane if you can't outskill them, and your W of course is not even usable in lane, so it's not even worth skilling of course. So I don't know, I feel like it's just like too beatable, or too many champs just kill better than Soraka does. Okay, I mean, he does actually outskill quite nicely the Orianna. Does he beat? Oh, the ult was probably a surprise. Oh, he did actually kill the Orianna, okay. It's not really OP, that's what I want to tell people. Like, it's not really OP, it's just like, it's not bad. Ashe, I would say Ashe is not bad. Like, some matchups she can be really oppressive, really dominant. She scales quite nicely, but the issue with like Soraka is that you lack pressure early on, then you also kind of like get outscaled by many things. So this all thanks to the monstrous range. Yes, he has 600 range on his basics. I played Ashe top as well, it was really fun, but I actually run Lethal Tempo over Halo Blades, but Halo Blades is probably a bit better to pressure people early on. It does definitely allow you to go for really good short trades at the moment. Stack up your Q, then go for a Q all in, right? So it's definitely way better in the earlier parts of the game. And here he does get caught a little by Yon. He's trying to space him, but Yon works faster, right? Yon does flash, and then he flashes away. Yon misses his Q, which is great. And now he tries to turn it over the fight, but the issue is that in here he doesn't have Ghost, so he can't really kill the Yon. And so what happens is very simple. I think Graves does get caught. He doesn't die. Happily he doesn't die, okay. They got still a decent trade on the Yon, so he will be low by the... Do they challenge this? Do they challenge them in a fight? They do actually. His Halo Blades came up and he managed to kill him, maybe 2 kills. I feel like 2 kills, no? No? Yep, he's 600 range, a cheat code at top lane. Lots of range Ashe got on her basics, right? And so in here it kinda sucks for Trundle, because like she has Halo Blade, she's good at kiting, and level 1 Trundle cannot do much. So in here he showed up, he got already W poked previously I assume, and in here he just gets pumped with arrows. He adds a lot of range, right? And now we can also zone him off a little bit of XP. And he made his, now he was smart enough in here, he made his E. He didn't make his Q because he knew that he can't really stack up like Q. He's slow pushing anyway, so he doesn't want to stack up Q to push faster the wave. Because realistically, he will get at least like maybe like one basic attack with her Q on the Trundles. So he rather wants to like see where the enemy jungler is pathing toward. Because Ashe is actually vulnerable to ganks, right? Potential ganks. And in here he does use his ghost. He doesn't get the kill, but at least he got a decent amount of damage on him. I feel like it's not really worth. I mean, it forces him to decal, I assume, and TP back. But I mean, here's my opinion. I think like ghost is very important to Ashe to have up against Randall. I mean, I guess like Jarvan is still topside, but I think he just gotta like recal and probably TP back if the guy has TP. So I actually like the wave wasn't like pushed in deep enough, I think, for him to ghost and force him to recal. So I think if the wave would be a bit more pushed and then he would look for some type of ghost all in to chip his HP down, I think then it would be a little better. But as he's slow pushing, Trundle is not even TPing. I don't know what does Trundle have, TP or ghost, but he doesn't lose that big of amount of CS. Then he does poke as hard as possible, you know. I mean, the Trundle also has like no second wind and no D shield, so like that's why like this type of video seems to be really good. And so Ashe is not that awful on top lane. I wouldn't really shit on Ashe, but this guy doesn't have second wind D shield on Trundle. And so ideally, if Trundle is strong sided, he gets level 2. He gets his pillar level 3 ideally. Ashe can't really escape too well a potential collapse. That's what I'm thinking of. So like Ashe is very vulnerable, especially if she's perma sitting under Trundle's tower to get plates to be collapsed on just because of Trundle's pillar, right? And here he just last hits, you know, he's punishing last hits. He's even has a good body language, right? Giving him a mental comfort that he can actually last hit, but then he punishes exactly when he last hits, right? Ashe can he surrender with a, yep, he can. Now one thing you got to be a little bit careful with if you overly base. Oh, that's well played on his part. He had Q up, he has Halo Blades, he just all in. So like one thing to watch out for if you play ranged up into Trundle, he could EU exactly when you basic attack him and then he could take some tower shots. So that's something that you should really watch out for. That was a bit unlucky, he missed the minion. The issue is the Trundle is not using W either to heal up of the minions. Because like he gonna run lower on HP than on mana. So I think this guy has no D shield, no second wind, he doesn't use his W. I think like partially why this looks so good, because Trundle doesn't know how to play the game correctly in here. Then he's not getting strong sided either for a pillar gang. So I feel like this gives like people a fake sensation of strength, I think. He does actually go Black Cleaver, okay, that's interesting. I guess for HP, for some speed, it's not bad on Ashe. Bad it cannot be, right? But I think as a first item it's a bit weird, but it still provides you like decent, it provides you still decent fighting stats, speed, cooldown, armor, and HP, damage, like it still provides great stats overall. But compared to Kraken, of course with Kraken I do assume you will have way more damage. Bork probably doesn't feel to be too bad on Ashe top, you know, stuff like that. Black Cleaver, I don't know really how to feel about Black Cleaver, honestly. I think just Kraken, isn't just Kraken better? But I think even in this play, by the way, it's really like Orianna messing it up. Watch what Orianna does. So in here she W's under herself, and then she Qs, which is kinda weird. Then of course he flashes the Soraka, but then he kinda like, look in here, he just last hits, of course. And so in here you see this, like basically, I mean she could banny herself in here, she does. But then she messes it up because like Soraka had the level advantage and she had like a minion wave. So it's in there, I feel like some of these, it's just really like not the pick being so insanely viable. It's just like the enemy champion inting, because in there like Orianna could just not go in and not int. I mean there were some outplays as well, but a lot of them relied on like your opponent being bad. That's the thing. Queuing the 3 melees and waiting for the, yep, that's why you wanna do into Tryndamere, because he smashes you. Wait, Soraka has only a 450 attack range, what? I didn't even know that. I thought she has at least 550 something. I didn't even know she's so short actually. She does actually poke slowly but nicely, right? Yeah, he's spacing quite nicely, like he does actually rely quite a lot on his mechanics. When the freeze is accomplished, poke with Air Scorch whenever he pulls up to Aquio. I don't know how worth is it to go for Scorch. I mean, it's a generic Soraka rune, right? It just Scorch doesn't do too much into his sustain. That's how I feel like, you know. When the wave eventually bounces back, the enemy won't have the HP to engage onto us. Yeah, that's true. Because I feel like occasionally you're gonna proc that Scorch as well when you hit your Q, maybe your E. So I'm not sure, like you could go scaling, but again, like you gotta pressure tint early as much as possible. You could go scaling or water walking, but pretty much sure like you kinda wanna pressure tint the mirror as much as possible early on before he just kinda like outscales you, so maybe that was his point, right? But again, I think this was kind of weird as well, because all of these people just walk in to die. Like, look, Tryndamere could then spin away. Of course, the wave is gigantic on his side. Soraka is way more healthy. Then Tryndamere does a weird thing. He spins out, but he gets Q basic. Then it's kind of weird because he has no spin. Then he just like walks in for no reason, ignoring the gigantic wave. Then he just kind of dies because he like goes in without E and just gets EQ'd. It's like I don't think so the Soraka did play so well. It's just really all about like Tryndamere inting. I just like a bit sus. That's what I'm thinking of. Like people think they're gonna queue up, they're gonna play a Soraka top. It's like I don't know, like it feels like your opponent has to really misplay. Now, in some way, I guess there is like a reasonable amount of like like I guess like people won't expect what Soraka or Ashe does on top lane, so that's why they misplay like that, maybe, right? Soraka's pokes are usually also more ideal into like champs that don't really... So he does actually go bandit, so he likes to go cooldown build apparently. He goes for some type of supportive, mandate, Fair. I would say that's fair. So he does play for woods, he does play for pokes, Plays like a sort of a supportive build, And it's like one thing I'm thinking of, like why would someone go Ashe top with a supportive build instead of support Ashe? Because like support Ashe does put a lot of pressure on the table on bot lane as well, if you think about it, no? Does sidestep quite nicely there, but he has to flash, right? It actually does outplay quite nicely there, But do they pick up a kill though? Lee Sin doesn't have kick maybe? Oh, don't take that Lee. Oh, he actually kinda... Well, he died anyways, Does Q the tower? I think he just outplays him by walking out, yep. So he has enough mobility, he has boots, so he has enough mobility to walk out of Aatrox's W slow really easily, sideways. Then pretty much like he was able to get out of there. So that's it for now guys, have a nice day.